Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our update on Tuesday, the 24th of March, following Boris's announcement last night that he's effectively putting the UK into lockdown. So what does it mean for you? What does it mean for your business? Stay tuned and we will kind of give you a quick roundup of where we are with various government measures that are there to support business. Okay, so following the announcement yesterday, we had lots of people texting us, messaging us, emailing us, asking whether what they do is essential enough that they can basically carry on working. So whether you're an electrician or a plumber, builder, car repair garage, I'm afraid I don't have the answer as to whether you can go to work or not. I think it's a decision you need to take yourself. I know that building sites are still running. So if you're a contractor on a building site, it may be that you go for now, but I suspect that they're gonna close up and it's gonna get into this kind of full effect lockdown sooner rather than later. So a lot of you, I suspect, are going to try and take advantage of the job protection scheme as it was announced on Friday. So that's the guarantee of 80% of your staff's salaries. I was hoping by now to have had some guidance and some legislation to have gone through to be able to sort of show you exactly how that works, but the portal hadn't been built when it was announced on Friday. It's still obviously not been built now. We're in a really strange position where kind of the biggest government intervention in employment in history is still being kind of still only has 10 lines of guidance, which is just mind-blowing really. So what things are kind of generally coming out into the accountancy world that we're obviously pass on to you. So we, as far as we can see, in order for someone to be able to be furloughed in March, they need to have been on the payroll as of the 28th of February. And that's just basic anti-avoidance, I think. So that's to stop you putting your granny on 30k a year salary in March to then claim 80% of it back. So that's where we are now. Whether people claim, whether if someone's in employment in March can go on and be furloughed in April, we don't know yet. But I think there's going to be a sort of hard and fast line on the 28th of Feb. And obviously all of the 28th of February payrolls have been run and all the RTI filings have gone to HMRC. So what you can't do, and what you definitely shouldn't do, is amend that payroll and suddenly give everyone pay rises so that you can then claim a higher 80% back. That's obviously easily going to be flagged by HMRC at their end. So that's the kind of number side of it. How it works in practice, we don't know. What we do know is we need you to tell us if you are kind of closing up shop and furloughing your employees. You need to tell us, but at this point I have literally no way of ticking the right boxes and claiming that 80% grant back, and neither does any other business in the country because the portal's still not there. So we know what we need to do, we don't have the mechanism to do it. Given that a lot of employers are going to be paying March salary bills at the end of this week, HMRC and the government need to pull their finger out, but obviously it's a huge project. I can't imagine how big a project that is. HMRC, digital projects generally run 2 years and a couple of billion behind budget. So if they get anything out this month that's workable, I'd be stunned, absolutely stunned. But we will see how that works. So that's the job protection scheme. As I say every video, if you're not sure if it applies to you or you want to kind of go through the nuts and bolts of it, just give us a call. We will make time in our diaries to make sure we speak to everybody that's affected by this. Okay, what else shall we talk about? Okay, so self-employed people. This is the big buzzword at the moment. They're not getting the support that employers and individuals seem to be getting, and I know quite a few of you have seen the bill that was going through Parliament yesterday. A lot of you sent it to me. I think Trevor put it up into the group chat. Thanks, Trevor. Now this could be really good news. What I would point out is it appears to be an amendment to a bill that was already passing and it hasn't been voted on yet, and it's unlikely to take effect until the end of the week. So first of all, don't all get excited, because as we sit this morning, I'm not sure it's happening anytime soon. And I said in the group chat yesterday, my issue with this, and I imagine every accountant's issue, is that what their definition of self-employed is. So all of you guys are business owners, so in your mind you're self-employed, but in HMRC's mind you're not. So self-employed in terms of HMRC are people that file the sole trader or partnership sections of the tax return. And that's the really key bit here, because if you run a company and you're a director of that company, you don't file that part of the tax return. You file the employment section because you get a salary, and you file the dividend section because that's how you take the bulk of your income. So on a strictly HMRC definition of self-employed, that bill is not going to do anything for the vast majority of people that own limited companies. However, the tax barrister that I talked about in the job protection scheme, he thinks that the way it's likely to work, because they want to now catch everybody in one go, is that it will be taken from anyone who either is a director of a company or self-employed in terms of sole trader or partnership, and it will be a average of the total earnings that you've got on your tax return, less interest and pension. And that would be obviously a much better result for everybody, particularly probably 90% of the people that are watching this. But I'm afraid we don't know what we don't know yet, and it's not even passed Parliament, so it's a little way from being announced. But my advice would be don't get massively excited about that, because if they stick to their standard definitions, it's still not catching those directors. And whether it covers dividend income then afterwards or not, I'm not sure. So we have to wait and see. And as soon as we hear anything, even if it's a 20-second update in a video, we will put that into the chat, because it's moving so fast, isn't it? So that's where we are with self-employed people. Is there anything else left for us to talk about this morning? Let's find out. The quick answer to that is no, nothing else to talk about today. We'll come back to you if anything changes.